Do you know and love someone who's an addict? There are few things in the world that are more stress inducing, anxiety ridden than trying to deal and love and be with an addict. And it could be a parent, it could be a sibling, a spouse, child. It doesn't matter. Anybody who's close to you, they take that piece with you, and we get it. We get it. Unfortunately, we both get it personally.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And it's a rough road to go, and I don't think that we talk about it as much as a society. Couldn't get that out.
But you did finally.
We talk a lot about the disease, and is it a disease? Is it a choice? What do we do? What do we don't do? Forced treatment. All of these conversations, and I've heard hundreds of hours of them. But how many do you talk about the person who's trying to live with it, who's trying to deal with it, who is ultimately getting the effects of it? Because I'll tell you, the addict is not having the effects.
No.
They get to escape.
The loved ones.
Right, yeah. They get to escape. They can go on and do their thing. They can say horrible, mean things as a nice excuse, or just lie, a sweet lie. It says their reason to excuse themselves, go do their thing, and you're left picking up all the pieces. And, yeah.
I'm going to jump in here real
Please.
quick and let you know this is Tara and Roxanne.
Sorry.
We're here to help you enjoy your life and to calm your mind.
Yes.
We also have for you some 3 different breathing techniques. They're absolutely amazing, very helpful, and in a situation that is stressful with people, one of these might be a good lifeline for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Just slow yourself down for a minute and try these.
Absolutely.
So, our gift to you, the link is down below in the feed there.
Use it, because anxiety, as you know, and the stress comes from without to within, right? Like you can feel it in every cell in your body. These breathing techniques, any breathing techniques, will help you calm down a little bit, so then you can make some different choices, hopefully, different thought choices. But ultimately, you're not responsible for what's happening, but it is happening. So let's look at it a little bit. Let's look at what really the effects are and what's real about them and what's not. And hopefully that will help you identify with some of them. It helped me tremendously. It took me years and years. I don't know how long did it take you.
Long time,
Yeah.
a lot of years.
Yeah. To be able to identify some of these and to understand them and then put them into play. And hopefully we can offer you a shortcut. Even if only one of them resonates with you and you're like, that helped, I get that, and I can use that moving forward, then it makes it all worth it. That's why we're here. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I have a tip for you. If you are uncertain about how an addict is feeling or thinking because you think you know that person, but the addiction is something different, talk to an ex-addict. I've done a lot of that.
Point.
Yeah. They'll tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Not the addict that you're talking to will not tell you the truth. There's nothing they say that will ever be true. It just isn't.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
But it just is what it is. And I'm not putting them down.
No. They're in survival mode of sorts. They're trying to keep doing
one.
what they're doing.
That's a great way
all
to
costs.
put that.
Right.
Yeah. But if you don't know any ex-addicts yet, let me know. I'll hook you up with one. Honestly, I know quite a few. So what do we feel? I mean, how do you feel? What kind of...
Oh, my gosh. So
Right?
many horrible emotions go
Yes.
through you different times, different ways. You and I were talking before. When you said loneliness, that was a huge one for me. Being alone in a situation with somebody.
Yeah.
That helpless and alone and feeling powerless.
Yes. Oh, yes. And abandoned.
Yes.
I that was a big one. For me, was the abandonment and the worthiness. If I was good enough, if you're good enough, then they'd stop for you, right?
Right.
If you were
They
important,
valued me enough.
yes.
Right.
If you were important, then they wouldn't choose alcohol or drugs over you, right? Wrong. But that is what we experience, and I think it's important that we call it out and look at it and be real about it. You get sadness. You've got this guilt, which logically doesn't make any sense.
No sense.
Right? Yeah. But logic has nothing to do with any of this.
No.
There's a lot of anger, and then you feel guilt about that, and then sadness, and you feel so responsible somehow because you have to either grow up very quickly or end up adapting because you're making excuses and you're lying for them because you don't want other people to know because they don't know the real them, and you don't want them to think badly of them. I don't know
True.
if you got in that trap or not, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were talking also about the elephant in the room. You don't ever hit this thing head on, but you also wait for the other shoe to drop.
Absolutely.
You wait for that person's behavior to change and become more erratic and more attacking and
Oh, for sure.
right.
People have dealt with any addicts for any length of time, whether it's somebody you grew up with or if you're, 5, 10, whatever years into a marriage or a partnership of any kind or relationship of any kind, is your trust gets eroded.
Oh, boy.
Your trust in yourself and your trust in the whole world, because your gut tells you something's not right. But then like you said, it's an elephant in the room. Nobody's talking about it, and there's no validation that you're right. So you start second guessing yourself.
Absolutely.
You second guess everything everybody says to you, because you get lied to on a regular basis.
Right.
And that's, again, like she said perfectly, that it's just the addiction trend. They're in survival mode. So we like to look at it, we just talked about this a little bit, as a separate thing. So you have your loved one, and there's you, and then there's the addiction itself. Now, it is taking over right now your loved one, but it's killing its host, right? Like an alien almost. I'll never forget, did you ever see the Rod Sterling Twilight Zone episode?
Yes.
About the alcoholic?
Oh, I don't know that I did see that one. No.
They described it, and I thought it was perfect because I was dealing with that when I was a kid, and I was maybe 7 or 8 when I saw it, and so the analogy made perfect sense to me at the time.
Now I'll have to go find it.
But he had a quick, somebody on there had a quick fix for alcoholism, and you had to take this pill. In this pill was a worm, and the worm lived inside you now. And if you fed it alcohol, it would grow and grow and eat you from the inside out and kill you. Wow. So it made you terribly sick, and it just got bigger, and then it would destroy you, so you couldn't. So, yeah. And so this guy
seemed like a good solution to you, a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I thought that is what it is.
Right.
It's in there, and you feed it every time you're drinking, and eventually it's trying to kill you. And it kills everybody around you. It's a slow suicide, is what it is. And why? Let's just go back for a second. I probably should have said this originally, but why do people do it? Why?
Well, they'll give you a list of reasons for sure.
But what do you think? I mean, at the end of the day, the only reason people do mind-altering substances is to alter their mind.
To escape, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't. So let's take the villain out of it a little bit. They don't have coping skills for dealing with stress or day-to-day life or expectations or their own childhood crap that they got handed to them, right?
Sure.
And so they don't know how to, what's a real man supposed to look like? Am I failing my family? What's a good wife do? What's a good mother do? I'm failing. I'm going to have a few drinks. I'm going to have, and then eventually it's used as a tool. I believe that. I'm going to be somebody else. That's why I did it. My 20s, we go out and we go party. So, because I had to be so responsible all the time, I could go out and then I could be somebody else. I mean, I almost attempted to change my name. I definitely gave out fake numbers. But
maybe fake name would have been good
fake
too.
names, because that could not intercede into my real life ever, right? But so it was a wonderful escape. So I get it. But eventually, when that's the escape, because there are no tools, you're not learning any tools because you do have that kind of crutch.
Right.
And eventually it takes over. Now you're not in charge anymore. And so nobody sets out to be an alcoholic. I can't wait to go get on heroin. I can't wait to take 20 oxys a day and drive my kids to school. Nobody sets out as a goal to do that. Right. They have a pain or discomfort, emotionally or physically. They don't know how to deal with it. And this is a quick fix. It's socially acceptable, right?
And then they're in it quick. They're
Yes.
in the addiction very quick.
Yes. Women get snagged quicker than men do. Unfortunately, we just have more fat cells, so we absorb more any substance at all, whether it's alcohol or drugs. And so we get addicted faster and die sooner.
Oof.
Yeah. Men can live for a very long time being addicted, whatever. It's not a pretty existence, but they can breathe and survive for a very long time and destroy a lot of people in their wake.
Boy, and that's who we're trying to reach here
Yes.
today. The people who are really trying to love somebody and how difficult that is in your life and how much it takes from your life, and where do you go with your feelings? Where do you go with your emotions and your heart? And probably we were discussing, you are in a more powerful position than you recognize.
Yes.
You have some power in this. It's limited, but you do choose some things depending upon how old you are and what it is. Child, parent, it's a little different.
Sure.
But you do have some power here.
You do. And trust is, you might find yourself that you might realize that you don't trust very easily, or that you don't know how to communicate very well, or that your feelings are very confusing and hard. All of these are normal, natural byproducts of being in love and having an addict in your life on a regular basis. Because their feelings, you're not seeing feelings, you're seeing frustrated, anger, or whatever, and then drinking. So you don't get to see the sadness and how it resolves and comes back around. You don't get to see how to process anger, and it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel these things without suppressing them. It's important. And so I know a lot of people I've talked to over the years, they feel weak somehow if I'm too sensitive. No, you're not. You just actually are expressing your feelings in a sea of people who don't do that. But it doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you broken. It makes you human, which is great.
Which
right?
is great. Which is great.
Trust issues are hard. Like she said, there's always that elephant in the room and nobody's talking about it. You can talk about it. Talk about it to somebody you trust. Be honest and open. It's not a shame on your family. It's not a shame on you. It's all over this country, at least, and really all over the world.
It is.
So it's unfortunate we don't talk about it enough. And then nobody wants to be pitied. So you're afraid you're going to talk to somebody and they're going to go, oh.
No.
Or give you unsolicited advice, having no idea what they're talking about.
Right. No idea what you're living.
There is a little bit of that too.
Sure.
But it's okay to validate your feelings.
Absolutely.
And your guilt is misplaced. So what I recommend, what worked for me, and this is not scientific in any way, shape, or form, but it did kind of work for me a little bit, and maybe you can share something that worked for you, is I went and talked, mine is rooted in childhood, very, very young, a lot of addiction and alcohol in my youth. And then, of course, I decided to bring it with me into my adulthood. But that's where it started, right? So I would talk to her.
Your
My younger self.
child. Yes,
Yeah.
I did that too, that exercise too.
Yeah, I do
Try to
that a lot.
help
I'll
her.
talk to her. Yeah, she wasn't as bad as I thought she was.
Well, I didn't think she was bad at all.
Yeah.
I just felt sorry for her, and it was a way to tell her it wasn't her. She hadn't done anything. She wasn't responsible for this.
Right.
Yeah.
So you gave her all the stuff that you needed to hear.
I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
See, we can give it to ourselves. You
Yeah.
really, like she said, we have so much more power than we think. Especially when we're knee deep in getting manipulated by somebody who's just trying to keep their addiction alive because it keeps them alive. You know?
Right.
Yeah. And we can't, like you were saying. So what did you do? Counseling helped you quite a bit,
Counseling
right?
did help me.
Yeah.
It was a journey. Lots of counselors and a lot of
course.
years. But I read things, and it seems to me that at different points in time you're ready to hear something.
Of course.
And then you are receiving what you might have read 5 times before. So you just have to be ready, and you go in stages.
Absolutely. But you have to you have to
Change.
recognize,
You have to
I think,
want.
yeah, and you have to recognize that it's possible.
Yeah.
That was my biggest, once I knew it was possible, I turned every stone. I just didn't know it was a thing. I thought this is normal, this is life, I'm just broken, and that's just the way I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at it and go, oh, okay, well, I've created some adaptation skills,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't healthy.
Right.
But it helped
Right.
survive,
That's true.
right? So you learn to adapt and adjust to the situation you're in. Doesn't mean that it's how you want to live the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary for that time frame, and I'm grateful for it. But it's not conducive to a healthy life with relationships and with yourself and all of that. So once I knew, they went, that's not normal. I went, oh, well, good. That means I can go find my normal.
Right.
Yeah, like it's an
Exactly.
option. So you can find your normal. You can find your peace. Yes, it's possible. I don't think they believe me. It's possible. Yeah. Happiness is possible. And relationships are possible. You can trust yourself. You just have to recognize that you've been manipulated, and the feelings and the residual effects of that are normal. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're bad. Nothing like that. It's just par for the course, and you come out stronger and more confident because of it.
Right. Keep
Yeah.
stretching and growing and trying to find your way.
Yeah.
And taking care of yourself. Truly, truly taking care of yourself.
And find someone you can communicate with. Honestly. Counselor, fantastic, right? They can help you organize all that. They're not emotionally invested. Find a good, trusted person in your life that maybe isn't right up next to you and that's also knee deep in it, because it's the blind leading the blind.
Mm-hmm.
But find, if there's somebody that you can learn to voice it without shame, learn to ask for what you want, learn to express how you're feeling about it. It's not gonna, nobody's gonna take a magic wand and make your loved one not an addict, but they can help you organize it and exercise your power, like she said, because it's there.
It is.
And you deserve it.
It is. And don't forget, breathing exercises
Yes.
will help you in this journey,
They
and
really
in this
will.
process. You may sometimes just need to slow down and try one of these breathing techniques that'll really kind of center you and bring you back to level so that you can feel and know what you're feeling. So again, Tara and Roxanne here to help you calm your mind so you can enjoy your life.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us today.
Bye.